This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Dr. Laci C. Robbins. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful afternoon?
I am doing well, trying to stay warm here in Milwaukee, but I'm doing very well.
Is it cold there?
Yes, the high today I think is like 32, which is a bit of a heat wave.
Oh my. All right. Well, do tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's my accent. I have a Trinidadian accent. And I'm not even, I'm ironing out the accent right now. So like, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I would say the fact that I work with women leaders and with women who are interested in making more money, interested in conquering the 7 pitfalls of women leaders, and those who are most interested in having a more self-love, leadership, and a better life.
Ooh, is that something you had challenges with?
Well, they say it always hits the messenger first. And so through my experiences, I've definitely can use some of them in teaching and working with other women leaders. But a lot of it is actually based in my doctoral research. I actually have a doctorate, both a master's and a doctorate's degree in leadership. And my dissertation research is actually in metacognitive theory. So it's thinking about how people think and process. And that's really the starting point mindset I use with working with women leaders.
What was the impetus for choosing the route you decided to choose?
Well, I come from a family of educators, preachers, teachers, and servicemen. And for myself, I was determined not to be a teacher and thought I wanted to go into medicine, go into law. And I still ended up becoming a teacher. And so even when I work with women leaders, it's still rooted in teaching, if you think about it. And I've always been fascinated about the brain and how the brain works and brain research. And so when it came time for me to begin my doctoral research, I knew I wanted to do something in regards to neuroscience, but I wasn't sure 100% what, but I knew it had to be connected to that.
That's super cool. So for someone that's listening, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. We can connect by visiting www.drlaci.com, and that's Laci with an I. My whole life, it's been Laci with an I. So that's drlaci.com.
What would you say is the emotion that you operate most from? Kindness, caring, sharing, loving?
For me, it would be the emotion of joy. I truly believe the more joy you have and gratitude and thank you makes room for more. And so I operate in those two areas of life. More gratitude makes you more joyful. And the more joy you have, the more gratitude you can release. It's also all connected to the neurotransmitters within your brain that associate with dopamine. And so I tell women all the time, I tell people all the time, you're totally dope, which means the happier you are, the more joyful you are, the more dopamine's released, which makes you even more happy. So that's that neurotransmitter that fires when you exercise, when you laugh, when you've had a great experience. And everybody loves how you feel, right, at the end of something like that. And so you want to have more of that released in your life. And so you keep tapping into it. And it acts like almost a cycle of sorts.
Is there someone in your family who has that level of joy and operates with that level of joy?
Oh my goodness. Well, definitely my husband. He is a comedian. He's a pastor, but he's definitely a comedian. And, he always is the air in the room, brings joy to anyone he's around. And I would also say my Aunt Vera. She is my mother's younger sister. And she always has a joyful spirit, is always laughing. She's the life of the party. Everyone always wants to be around her.
Tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
I would would say movement. So some form of exercise over the last 3 years. Once I was a big avid runner, running half marathons, was starting to kind of toe dip into triathlons before. And now I'm at the point my body just can't take all that running, but I still enjoy movement. So I do yoga every single day, some sort of movement with that, as well as walking. And it just helps me to set my day. It's a part of my intentions for the day is some sort of body movement.
Suggest to someone that's listening why they should consider doing something like that.
You know, the interesting thing is when you have some sort of practice. So if you study people who are successful, and this is one of the things I teach women, study someone who has been successful and you simply emulate the pattern. And then when you study people who are successful, they have a morning routine. They don't sleep in late. They get up early. And I'm not saying you have to get up at 4 a.m., but they're not, it's 11 o'clock, we're still in bed on a Saturday, right? They get up early and they have a specific routine. And so for myself personally, my routine includes always beginning the morning with a prayer of gratitude, followed by reading my scriptures. We are Christians, so we read the Bible in our household. So reading my scriptures or some form of devotion for the day. Then a body movement. I also read something that's going to enhance my professional career. So a book that's going to help me either creatively or professionally. With my career and such. Then I move into my body movement, and then I move into setting my intentions with meditation for the day. And that whole process takes about an hour for me to do. But if I don't do that, I can totally tell the difference. It did not take long for me to operate in that space to start to see a real difference in my life and how I felt, and just felt more joy as well. And I would say for any of your listeners to try it. It may sound a little granola. I will be the first to admit I was totally skeptical myself. But when I started putting it into practice in my life, within a week's time, I could already start to feel a difference in how I felt.
Well, amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Dr. Laci Robbins, and you can connect with her at drlaci.com. Simple, yeah? I love that. drlaci.com. Dr. Laci, well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you now into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. What is your earliest childhood memory? What is your earliest childhood memory?
Let's see, my earliest childhood memory. I would say it was my mom teaching me how to ride a bike. It's the one that I can see most vividly, right? And I'll never forget, she had on these like brown canvas, like Adidas style tennis shoes with the stripes, and light brown, dark brown. And I remember just begging her that day, please, can we go out? Please, will you help me ride my bike today? And she was like, okay. So she threw these tennis shoes on, and she's running alongside me, running behind me, holding the back of my pink and white floral seat bike with the streamers and the whole nine. I probably was about 7 or so, and running behind me. And then like we would go up and down the block. And then I remember I'm screaming like, I'm doing it. I'm so excited. And I turn thinking my mom is still behind me running, and she's actually at the end of the block, and I literally just fall over.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's definitely an example of joy and trying something new that you don't necessarily always think that you can do. Having, in this case, my mom was the coach, right, next to me, guiding me and encouraging me along the way. And even though I fell, once I was having a moment of accomplishment, don't you know, sometimes we bump our heads, but I got back up on that bike again and just kept riding, right? I didn't give up. I wasn't like, oh, I'm over it, I'm never riding again.
Love it. So
I think those two, that definitely relates with my current life, being on a path, sometimes, falling over, but definitely getting back up and keep going, and connecting back to my tribe to keep me encouraged along the way.
Well done. Love that. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Anything by Michael Jackson.
Give me one,
Oh my
please. Like,
God.
what comes to mind? What pops up?
Always Billie Jean.
All
I,
right.
I always love Billie Jean. I think because of the video, the music video, with the way the street lit up, I just thought that was so cool. And I know, I don't know, just like the dance moves and everything, and performing on the Grammys and moonwalking. I'm pretty sure I had gray socks for years trying to moonwalk around the house. I would say Billie Jean, and then I know, what was it called? Smooth Criminal, and trying to, like, how does he lean forward like that? How is that? So yeah, pretty much anything by Michael Jackson.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Dr. Laci, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
Oh, about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Dr. Laci Robbins, what would you say that is?
That would be my tagline: from process to practice, grab your stilettos and let's go.
Love it. Could you say it again, please?
Absolutely. Ladies, from process to practice, grab your stilettos and let's go.
Yeah, it's really cool. On her Skype, she has the lady with the most shoes wins. Dr. Laci, this is such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to chat with you on today, to be a part of this process and connecting with so many amazing people around the globe. And I just want to encourage everyone to remember this. You have an inner glow, and you should definitely share it with someone else. No one else can shine as brightly as you do.
Love it. Dr. Laci Robbins, again, thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.